London, in the year 1616, was a city in motion long before sunrise. Smoke from countless hearths blurred the skyline, and the streets were already alive with sound. The scrape of carts over uneven stone, the cries of hawkers, the bleat of animals pressed into service. London was waking, as it had for centuries, but it was a city growing faster than its rulers could contain. This was not the city of planned squares and wide avenues. It was a dense, tangled organism, its medieval heart barely able to sustain the pressure of ambition, poverty, and opportunity pressing against every street. Every step could be a negotiation with chaos. Every breath carried soot, dust, and the faint tang of the river. People came daily from the countryside and abroad. Farmers displaced by enclosures arrived seeking work. Sailors, apprentices, and craftsmen chased wages and patronage. Scholars and performers sought fortune and recognition. The city promised much, but delivered unequally. A merchant could rise to prominence in a season only to see ruin descend before nightfall. And yet, London grew. Begin at the Thames. Here, the river dictated the city's rhythm. London Bridge, the only permanent crossing, was more than a structure. It was a street hovering above water, lined with timbered houses that leaned precariously toward one another. Shops occupied the ground floors: metalworkers, bakers, haberdashers, and apothecaries. Families lived stacked atop these businesses, their windows nearly touching across the narrow road. The bridge was ceaselessly busy. Pedestrians jostled each other, carts rattled, animals shuttled between markets. Beneath, the river flowed dark and cluttered with refuse, its current fragmented by massive piers. At the southern approach, iron spikes displayed the heads of executed traitors, a stark reminder of royal authority. London Bridge was vital, yet perilous, an artery connecting wealth, commerce, and danger. Cross south, and the city's personality changes. Southwark existed beyond strict municipal oversight. Theaters clustered along the riverbank, the most famous being the Globe, drawing audiences of all classes. Stories of kings, murderers, fools, and lovers played out in the open air, the laughter and gasps of spectators spilling into the streets. Entertainment extended into cruelty. Animal baiting arenas thrilled crowds with bear and bullfights. Alehouses and taverns overflowed with patrons. Gin flowed cheaper than bread. Prostitutes operated openly, calling from doorways and windows. The air was thick with smoke, mud, and river odor. Southwark was unrestrained, alive, and dangerous, a mirror of London's indulgent, chaotic spirit. Returning north across the bridge, the medieval streets squeezed sunlight from the lanes. Waste flowed openly in gutters. Fires were constant threats. Markets were the city's pulse. Fish, vegetables, meat, and bread arrived daily from surrounding counties. Prices rose and fell with harvests, rumors, and speculation. Inflation gnawed at ordinary people's livelihoods. Beggars clustered near churches. Children ran errands, often before they could read. Apprentices pushed carts through crowds, while pickpockets thrived in the crush. London's energy was unrelenting. Its streets consumed labor, resources, and attention without pause. Amid this urban tumult, politics simmered. King James I ruled England and Scotland, but Parliament was increasingly vocal, asserting rights over taxation and governance. Street protests were rare, but conversations in alehouses, market squares, and printing stalls hinted at friction. Pamphlets circulated, urging reform, denouncing corruption, or condemning royal favor. Puritan influences were strong. Sermons criticized perceived moral decay and the indulgences of the theater, while religious dissent simmered in secret meetings and whispered debates. Rumors of plots reached even the casual observer. Whispers of assassination attempts, conspiracies to smuggle contraband, and threats from foreign powers unsettled the public imagination. Shipbuilding yards along the Thames buzzed with industry, as England's maritime ambitions collided with local labor unrest. Colonial trade rumors of spices, sugar, and distant riches stirred hope and envy alike. Merchants measured risk in letters, coins, and cargo holds. Amid the cacophony rose St. Paul's Cathedral, its spire piercing smoke-darkened skies. Though centuries from its modern form, it dominated the skyline. Its churchyard was a marketplace for ideas as much as for goods. Booksellers offered sermons, poetry, political tracts, and pamphlets. Printers worked tirelessly to meet the city's thirst for information. Rumors moved faster than ink. Inside, the cathedral was less sanctuary than the forum. Nobles brushed against laborers, preachers debated doctrine, gossip and negotiation mingled beneath vaulted ceilings. St. Paul's was the city's conversation made tangible. Faith, commerce, and politics intertwined in stone. Westward lay Westminster, quieter but weighty with consequence. Westminster Hall, its timber roof immense and imposing, hosted trials, proclamations, and ceremonies. Royal residences and administrative buildings shaped the kingdom's law and policy. Parliament met here, asserting authority even as the king guarded his prerogative. Clerks moved ink-stained and hurried, lawyers debated, and processions of courtiers, officials, and prisoners passed daily. Decisions made in these streets rippled across England. Along the river's bend stood the Tower of London, thick-walled and formidable. It symbolized punishment more than protection, containing political prisoners, religious dissenters, and rivals of the crown. Few emerged unchanged. Behind locked doors, the crown jewels glittered, a reminder of monarchy's divine claim. The tower needed no banners. Its presence sufficed. Beyond the crowded streets, London softened. Gardens, meadows, and cottages edged the Thames. Ferrymen ferried passengers, fishermen cast nets in shallow waters. Birdsong still rose above the murmur of distant streets. But the city's expansion was relentless. Fields and villages were gradually swallowed, absorbed into the city's hunger for space. London, in 1616, was alive with contradictions, brilliance beside brutality, theater beside execution grounds, hope beside hunger. Every lane carried tension, not yet erupting, but palpable. Shipyards and markets, taverns and theaters, churches and prisons, all coexisted in a symphony of disorder and ambition. In decades to come, fire would reshape its streets, war would shake its foundations, empire would extend its influence worldwide. Yet in 1616, London was raw, crowded, and uncertain, a city learning what it could become. Even today, much has changed: rooftops, streets, bridges, and towers. Yet the spirit remains. Restlessness, contradiction, ambition, these endure in the pulse of modern London. This was London before its great trials, before transformations that would remake it. This was London in 1616, a city in motion, alive with human energy, tension, and potential. Thank you for joining this tour. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please subscribe for more historical explorations, and like the video to support the channel. More stories of history and discovery are coming.